Hi gamers, I'm back with part 3 of my PlayStation 1 collection, and so let's get going. We're up to S, and S is for ScoobyDoo and a Cyber Chase. Probably not a very good game, probably won't get around to playing it, but it's ScoobyDoo, so why not. Shockwave Assault. This is one of those PlayStation games whereby there's some live video footage included in the game, so they tend to be rather difficult and repetitive, and quite funny in a way. So, I quite like the Sega CD games, but some of those funny spoof video type games. So why not? A classic, a Konami. If you have to have this, if you've got a PS1, and that's Silent Hill. A nice little classic ski machine, ski bike, snow bike, that's it. Snow bike racing type game, and that's Sled Storm, quite fun. This is the first game of the Soul Calibur series, Soulblade. And I think Soul Calibur is okay. It's not quite as good as Tekken, and obviously not as good as Street Fighter, but it's okay. This is one of 3 games that came out following the success of South Park. Quite funny, not very good games I might add, but they're okay. South Park Rally and South Park Chef's Love Shack, which is like a series of mini games. Nowhere near as good as the new South Park game that came out last year, The Stick of Truth, but it's okay. I'm surprised we didn't get any games on the PS2 really with South Park. Okay, a couple of games. Soviet Strike, that's a helicopter shooter, and Nuclear Strike. Space Jam, a bit of basketball game based on the Warner Brothers movie. Games Workshop's Space Hulk. I've not got round to playing that. I must give it a go, and a classic remake of Space Invaders. Okay, before we had Call of Duty, we had Special Ops. So Special Ops Ranger Elite, Special Ops Airborne Commando, Special Ops Covert Assault, and Special Ops Stealth Patrol. I think that's all of them. I don't think there's any other Special Ops games on the PS1 at least. I know they brought a few out on the systems. Okay, unusual racing game. It's called Speed Freaks. I've not played it. It's different. Sort of Japanesey almost type animate. I don't know. Unusual type racing game. Gotta give it a go. And another game based on various Formula 1 cars and motorbikes, Speed Machines. I'm not too sure if that's any good or not, but I have it in the collection anyway. One of the better Spider-Man games, and that's original Spider-Man on PS1, followed by Spider-Man 2, Enter Electro. Love a bit of Spidey. The next series of games I think are a must again for the PlayStation. Unfortunately, the camera angle in the first game wasn't so great, even though it is a good game. And that is Spyro. I need to get a new packaging for this. Spyro 2. It's been torn. and Spyro, Enter Spyro Dragon. Oh, I've got this all in order, didn't I? So that's, yeah, obviously I've messed up the order on those, but you know what I mean. Spyro 3 games. Okay. Next are the Tekken games. So the first Tekken, I actually opted for the value series of this because again it came in a dual box. The original edition came in a cardboard box sleeve, and I think it also came in a double disc pack, which I'm not too keen on those double disc packs, especially when there's only one disc in it. You know, with double CD boxes, so I'd rather go for a value one in that case because it's a single box and matches most of the other games. Tekken 2, a better game. Tekken 3. And Tenchu Stuff Assassin. Unusual Capcom Games, Star Nation. It's all sealed, not new. Fortunately, there's a crack in a jewel case, that bit there, little one, but it's all sealed, so keep it like that for now until I get round to playing it. Then Star Trek Invasion. I think it's only one of the few Star Trek games that came out on the PS1. Quite a few came out on the PS2. Some made by Bethesda, which is obviously a good developer, but yeah, we ain't got one on the PS1. Okay, there was quite a few Star Wars games out on the system, some better than others. Star Wars Rebel Assault 2 is again, it's sort of mostly a flight type simulator game whereby mixed with some video footage. It's quite basic controls and so forth, a bit tricky in parts, but quite cheesy as well in a fun way, so I quite like that. As a recommendation. There was another Star Wars game I've got to get. The name escapes me. I think it's a Star Wars. Is it Dark Troopers or something? Star Wars Dark Troopers. I can't remember what it's called now. You'll probably work it out once I've shown all the other Star Wars games. So, Star Wars Masters of Terakazi. A lot of people knock this. It's a bit of a fighter with Star Wars characters. The controls are a bit awkward and a bit stiff, but I like it. I think it's an okay game. Alright, not a very good well, it's not a platform game. One of the not very good games. Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace, and this other game's absolutely terrible. Only collect if you're a bit of a PS1 fan. But Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. The controls on this game are awful. The graphics could have been. It was okay, so it could have been a much better game, but I think they didn't. I think kids didn't care too much if the controls aren't any good, which I think it's not a good idea really. Okay, this is a much better game, Star Wars game on the system. It's good to have, and a Star Wars Demolition, whereby you control a lot of the ships and also Boba Fett. So yeah, much better game to have. This is a top-down type shooter. Strike Force Hydra, not one of the most common games you see. Not worth a huge amount of money, but I've also got that on the Game Boy Advance, that game. Okay, no idea if this is any good or not. Strike Point for Hex Missions. Sounds unusual, doesn't it? That's probably why I'm keeping it. Right, another football/soccer game. I'm not really a huge soccer fan, but it was made by certain people like Konami or Taito. I tend to keep them. And it's Taito's Super Football Champ. That actually goes for a few pounds, that one does. Okay, some of the Syphon Filter games. So the first one, Syphon Filter, and Syphon Filter 2. Okay, that's the S's. Incidentally, if you're interested, I've piled all my games up in the the various letters and so forth, and the highest pile was the D's and the S's. There's a little tedious fact there. Okay, the T's were also quite high, but not as high as the D's or S's, and that's for City of Lost Children, based on the game, based on the movie. A fantastic movie. Quite a tricky, hard game. This is one of those games you probably need a walkthrough strategy guide or something. They never released a proper one, so you just have to look on the internet and get ideas. And YouTube will obviously have lots of walkthroughs, I imagine. But that's a quite rare game to find, and quite a tricky game to play actually. The Fifth Element. Not a bad game. The film's much better, but it's not a bad game. Okay, a bit of a racing game based on the 1960s classic, The Italian Job. I think there was also a game for remade movie, which I haven't bothered with really. Right, this game's complete, but unfortunately the sleeve was a little bit torn, so it's not in best condition. Jurassic Park: The Lost World. Okay, one of the only Simpsons games that came out on the PlayStation 1, and it's Simpsons Racing. Wrestling, not racing. The racing games, the Simpsons ones that came out on the PS2 are fantastic, but the wrestling game, its controls a bit awkward again, but it's okay. This game, I've played a demo. It's nothing special, but it's Smurfs, so it's unusual. Not many Smurfs games out there. Another football soccer game, and the reason why I kept this is because it's based on England. 3 Lions, very young David Beckham there, and yeah, very young David Beckham there. Okay, anyway. Tom, Jerry, the mouse... No, it's not mouse trap. The in-house trap, sorry. Again, I'm not too sure what that's like. Right, these games, I've played them all actually, and the first 2 or 3 were pretty good, but after that they sort of became a bit repetitive, but no, it's not too bad. Tomb Raider, a classic. Some people say the Saturn version is better. I also got that on the Saturn. Tomb Raider 2. A lot of people thought the Tomb Raider was actually a launch title for PS1. It actually came out on the Saturn first of all. Tomb Raider 3. I don't know which one came first out of these, but anyway, assume it's this one. Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation. And Tomb Raider Chronicles. So 5 Tomb Raider games out on the PS1. And I wonder if the franchise died a little bit. Okay, some of the Tom Clancy games, quite like these. Rainbow Six. Okay, this is a combination of Rainbow Six plus Rogue Sphere. Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Lone Wolf. But Tony Hawk's skateboarding. I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater also came out on the PS1, which I've got to get. Okay, this is one of the only Transformers games that came out on the PlayStation 1, and that's Beast Wars. It's not too expensive, this game. The version on the N64, I think, was a Blockbuster's exclusive in America, and so it's quite expensive. Well, this game's quite a collectible Namco game. Unfortunately, I'm missing a manual on this, so if anyone's got a spare manual, I would love to have it. Just let us know. But Treasures of the Deep, I have shown it on an earlier pickup video. A Capcom snowboarding game, which is the reason why I got this. Tekken Snowboarder. It was Capcom, I've got to have it. Okay, a pinball game, True Pinball. It's the only pinball game I got on a PS1. Or why not? I think this game was produced in France actually with French developers. And that's Tunnel B1. I guess it's a bit like Metro Last Light, that sort of thing, I imagine. Not played it yet. Okay, couple of new games. So, Ultimate Championship, Ultimate Fighting Championship, I should say. And Urban Chaos. By the same people who bought us Tomb Raider. Okay, this is a good Squaresoft RPG. It's not too expensive to find, which is unusual. And I have mentioned it before in the earlier pickup video, and that's Vagrant Story. Okay, getting there. One of the games of a Vanishing Point series. And this is quite a collectible beach volleyball game, a bit comical. It's quite rare, but it's not expensive, so it's good. You know, it's worth picking up when you see it. So it's 3-ball beach volleyball heroes. Again, I showed that on an earlier pickup video. Original V Rally. I thought I might as well get the original. Probably won't get the others. Okay, quite a collectible game. It's got the music from Jeff Rain's War of the Worlds in. The controls a bit awkward, not best graphics. Quite tough in places, but yeah, it's an unusual game. War of the Worlds. Okay, I think there's another Wing Commander game which I've got to get on a PS1, but this is Wing Commander 4. All complete. Again, got Mark Hamill in, and oh, what's his name, that actor? Malcolm McDowell. That's it, Malcolm McDowell. I hear it's quite good. Okay, some of the best racing games on the PlayStation 1, which is obviously these ones are based in space, and that's Wipeout, with quite funky dance music and or techno music, whichever you want to call it, and Wipeout 2097. I think this one's my favourite out of the two. It's got the Prodigy music, Firestarter, so you've got to have a race to Firestarter. It's a classic. It totally reminds me of my favourite decade, the 90s. And show my age now, aren't I? Oh, fart me. Okay, our next game, World's Scariest Police Chases. Looks fun. I think that also came out on PS2. Okay, last few games. Worms Pinball. I'm not a huge fan of the Worms games, but it's a pinball one, so but why not? I'll show some of these games on a pickup video. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's pretty, quite playable games. Cheap as chips though. And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire 2nd edition. Okay, WWF SmackDown. Got to have a bit of wrestling, haven't you? And SmackDown 2. And WWF Attitude. And the last 4 games, a bit of a classic, Wu-Tang Taste for Pain. I think obviously it includes Wu-Tang playing music. It's one of those games that people love or hate, I believe. And finally some X-Men games. So XMen Mutant Academy. XMen Mutant Academy 2. And one of the most valuable games of PS1. Well, not as much as Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but still goes for a fair bit. It's one of the best fighting games on PS1, and that is X-Men vs Street Fighter, which is showing. There you go. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's my 250 approximate PS1 games. At some point when I complete my PS1 games, I will show another video of those other titles I want to get. There's about 110 on my list. I'll probably end up getting more than that by the time I finish collecting it. PS1 games don't seem to be in much demand, which is good in my point of view because they're not too expensive. But you don't often see them these days. You get to see a few of the old common titles, so it's it's a slow system to collect for. So I think once I've finished my NES collecting and other Nintendos, like SNES and N64, I'll probably focus more on the PS1 to get them all complete, and then some of the other systems like Sega Game Gear eventually and stuff really. But I do love the system PS1. It's one of my favourite systems. My ultimate favourite has to be a PlayStation 2, but in the modern systems like PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, I still think they're bloody good even though they're not retro. But anyway, okay, that's my PS1 collection. Thanks for watching. I hope you like it. If you think I'm missing any must-have titles, there probably are a few. Well, I said there's 100 on my list, so there probably are some that you may recommend that I should pick up if I haven't already got them. Just leave a comment and hopefully you like it. And so until my next video, bye.